All right, everyone, just a reminder, tomorrow on Election Day, I'm going to go vote. I'm going to wake up early in the morning, slam down a bunch of caffeine. I'll be imbibing that throughout the day, I assure you. And then I'm going to, after voting, I'm going to come back, make sure that everything's set up hours beforehand. I should be going live roughly 7 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 6 p.m. Central Time. And I will be doing a live stream probably for 4 or 5 hours. It kind of depends on what the results are that we see from the East Coast. I'll be going live before results start coming in, where we're just starting to get a bit of exit polling and stuff. That's sort of when the polls close. And that's so I can have some guests aboard. I've already talked to a number of people to try to get them aboard for roughly 10-minute slots fairly early on. So, you know, by the time that's over, you'll start getting some preliminary results, some exit polling and stuff on the eastern seaboard, and then we can proceed. I'll be monitoring probably several election maps, because sometimes they update at different times. And of course the race is called. I'll probably as well be listening to a live stream of the actual results, so that I can, you know, tell you when a state has been called by a certain network. I'm not sure which one I'll use. I won't be able to broadcast that due to copyright, because these legacy media, you know, groups are anally retentive. They don't like it when people analyze what they're saying and sort of unspin it and make sure that it's actually fair coverage. They like their echo chambers. So I'll be listening probably in one ear to that while I read off some super chats, taking, again, a look at the maps as often as possible. And it should be 4 or 5 hours long. If it looks like there's an over or under performance on the eastern seaboard, that's going to affect the length of the stream. For example, 90% of the votes in, and Trump only tails by half a point in New Hampshire or something like that, or it looks like he might flip Michigan. I probably won't have to go so long, because at that point you might end up with those races called really buffing up the electoral count. Let's say he underperforms. Let's say it looks like you're going to have an extended contest in North Carolina or something like that. Well, I would still consider it advantage Trump. It would take a lot longer to know exactly what's happening. And keep in mind, depending on the other states that are actually capable of getting their shit together and getting the ballots largely counted on election night, it might come down to Maricopa County and the state of Pennsylvania to determine the election. We might not have a clear-cut winner on election night. My hope is we do. My hope is it's Trump, obviously. But we're not assured of that. So I might have to go to bed and say, well, okay, I'll wait another week, just like in 2020, to actually see that they've rigged the election again, and probably at that point Kamala wins. Trump needs to win a clear-cut victory. This is my biggest pitch to you. Go vote. If you haven't already, get somebody else to fucking vote, especially men. Get together with your brosifs and go and make a day of it. Because if we can carry Trump over the finish line on election night, doesn't matter what happens in Maricopa or in Pennsylvania that are still partially fortified. It won't matter anymore. But if he's not over that mark, you can expect Kamala Harris to take office. It'll be self-evident that she didn't win, but she'll take office anyway. It'll be just like 2020 Redux, in which case our republic is going to have a bad 4 years. It'll eventually cripple the liberal movement because she'll do such a poor job. But I don't really want to have to sit there for 4 years chuckling because the people who voted for her are suffering, but I'm suffering too. And people that didn't vote for her are suffering. I'm not interested in that sort of Schadenfreude mentality. I want what's best for my nation, ergo I'm voting for Donald Trump. And I definitely will be tomorrow. Thankfully, my polling place is within a very short, brisk walk's distance, although I will probably drive there anyway, just to make up better time. So, yes, get people to vote. If you haven't voted already, get the fuck to the polls. I don't care if it's inclement weather. It's going to be fairly warm and nice up here, actually. It's supposed to be almost 70 degrees here in Vermont on Election Day. That's the first time that I've seen this, by the way. It's going to be pretty warm. Nice, crisp autumn day with more late summer-esque temperatures. I'm sure that means turnout, by the way, in northern New England will probably be higher. This may benefit Trump in New Hampshire. It would be funny if New Hampshire saves the Republic. New Hampshire, Scott Presler, and a dead squirrel and Donald Trump serving French fries manages to save the Republic against an evil psychopath, aka Kamala Harris. That'd be a funny one. So again, 7 p.m. Eastern, roughly. It might be a little bit before or after. I've got to make sure at least an hour before literally everything is there. News tabs for me to listen to, although I won't be doing that when I'm talking to guests. I'll just fucking mute that. Election maps, I'll probably have 2 of them up. Politico may be TDS suffering, but as far as the election maps, they're just reporting the results in New York Times and some of these others. Not sure which ones I'll use, but if I'm listening to the live broadcast, I'll be able to tell you as states come in. I'll probably have 270 to win open so that I can, put that in as well. Although, you got to realize, only about 10 of the states are actually up for grabs. So you just keep them blank and fill them in as they hopefully announce results on election night, again, sans Arizona and Pennsylvania. You're probably not going to get Arizona results on election night. But it might not matter. If Trump does outperform by the same margin he did in 2016 and 2020, he will win the election. There will be a 100% chance of it. He might even win the popular vote, which would be hilarious. It'd be a goddamn landslide. That's definitely what we need. We don't need joy and vibes. What we need to do is create a socioeconomic situation that organically leads to joy. Simply grinning like a hyena does not magically make the economy better. Kamala Harris does not really seem to understand this. So yeah, I will be live. Don't worry, for many, many hours. I'm going to have plenty of caffeine. I've already got some of it on tap. Mushroom pills and, all sorts of supplements. I've got Brickhouse Nutrition, actually. I'll be shouting them out later on my live stream. Good shit, by the way. So yeah, it's going to be fun times had by all. That's about all. Peace out.